Guys, I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be giving you guys the key to productivity. And so the first thing we're going to look at to understanding what the key is to productivity is a course of action through the creation and use of a schedule. And so this schedule is going to help us facilitate everything we need to be able to live a productive life and maximize our probability for success. A lot of people think that productivity is something that you have to be born with, or you have to be like a super genius to be productive, but you don't. You just have to have clear and concise visions, and you have to be able to have something that can allow you to take action, and you have to be able to make the best decisions possible that will give you the highest probability of success and productivity. And that is where this schedule is going to come into play, and we're going to break that down. We're going to go into each point of how to develop a great schedule. But a great schedule will just mainly have your major events and then minor events, and then through the programming of major and minor events on a timetable throughout the day, you will be able to create habits that will best help you succeed. And understanding how time works, how action works, will allow you to make a course of action that printed or programmed onto your schedule that will allow you to be effective possible way. And the amount of effort that you put in and the understanding you have will allow you to do this. So we're gonna get straight into this. I hope you guys like this video, and let's get into it. So the next thing that we need to establish to create a course of action is understanding the concept of time in a measurement format. So usually, traditionally, we think of time in a linear format, and we think of time measured as birth. You have your life in the middle, and you have death. So we just look at time in a linear fashion. We're not looking at time as, or we're not seeing the time is measuring life in a linear fashion. But we can use time to measure things in our disposal as a tool, kind of like how a watch tells the time for you as a tool. So how we can use time in a productive manner is by measuring the hours that we have in the day, and based on the hours that we have in the day, we can program different activities or different actions within the day. That way, when we look back at our schedule, number one thing is that we understand what we got done that day, and if we did get these things done today, we can measure how productive that we were, okay? Other than just keeping everything in your mind, and then you don't hold yourself accountable in any way, shape, or form, or you don't have a frame of reference to say that you did anything or have any understanding. So the next thing you want to do is that you want to obviously have the major events within your schedule. So like if you have work or school, put those in, and then have other things outside of that that you can put into your schedule to work at your favor. So let's say that I wake up at 9 a.m. for work, or I have work at 9 a.m. Say that I go, I wake up at 5 a.m. and at 5:10 I pray, at 5:20 I meditate. So then I've programmed those two actions into my schedule, and then I can follow them, and I can use them almost as a course to follow. And then if I follow them enough, they'll turn into a habit, and I'll have a tendency to do them every single day, and it'll just become second nature if I keep doing this over and over and over again. So that's why we want to use time as a measurement, and we want to understand that time is a measurement. And I use this example because everyone uses time to measure their life in a linear fashion, but you can use time in a way to measure how productive you were in a day. The day may be linear in a sense, but you can just take that you did this, you did that, you did that, you did that, and then you understand your schedule. So you do not want to be subjugated to time. And what I mean by subjugated to time, this means that some people look at birth, life, and death, and they'll just look at time in this linear fashion, and they'll get caught up in the future or the past, and they're never in the present. You do not want to be subjected to time.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
The end.
If you're subjected to time, then you are going to be led to stagnation. But if time is subjected to you, then you're using time in your favor to measure the things that you can get done in the day. These three essential questions you can ask yourself is how much time do I have? What am I doing with my time, and what can I do with my time? If you can answer those three questions, that'll tell you what you're currently accomplishing right now and the direction that you're headed in this moment as of right now, as well as the direction that you can potentially be in if you understand what you can do with your time and the potential of the things that you can get done as well. So that is our spiel about time. We're going to get into the next part of this.
A few moments later.
So the last thing that we need to talk about is action. Now, what we need to understand is that actions are the decisions we act out. So they're what we subconsciously or consciously are inclined to do or decide to do. And then from these psychological inclinations, we act them out, and those are actions. So essentially, in our mind, I guess you could say, the real world process, it's just decisions that you're making, and you're acting out those decisions. So there's two types of actions that I've defined, is that we have effective actions and we have efficient actions. Now, most people, I'm going to be honest, most people are probably pretty efficient, more so than effective. But being effective is what leads you to exponential success or exponential gains, rather than being efficient. So to pretty much break down what effective actions are versus what efficient actions are, without giving you some like behavioral science lecture, is that pretty much effective actions are doing the right things, and efficient actions are doing things right. So doing the right things just take a little more analysis, more critical thinking, more deep thinking, more awareness, those type of skills. And when you have those type of skills, you can make better decisions, or more effective decisions will lead to more effective actions. So then you'll do the right things. And what I mean by this is that when you're creating your schedule, you essentially just want to create a schedule that has all of the main things that you know you have to get done, and are the things that will lead you to success in the most simplest fashion. Make a list of like 8 things or 10 things you have to do that day, and just do the 2 things that you know you have to do, or the 2 things that you just intuitively understand are the basis of what you have. If you're trying to get faster, then just run sprints. Okay, that's the basis thing you have to do. Just do conditioning and just run sprints. Maybe run weighted sprints. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to go and like jump off of something, or like spin around, or you don't have to do 20 different things. Just do the main 2 simple things, and then the other 8 things to do, maybe do that tomorrow or a different day, and block them out. So that way you're giving the most effort, you're allowing yourself to get everything done, and you're weeding out the things the filler that you're just doing, to give you the idea, or to give you a sense that you are doing everything right. You can just think more simply, essentially. Efficient actions might be doing like I would say 6 things, or doing like 7 things, or not doing the thing that or not doing things with with critical thinking and deep thinking. They're just kind of more vague, and you're just doing them to do them. So whatever you can think in your mind, or things that you do that are just not that are efficient, but just is not very effective at what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I guess you could say, like, if I gave you an example about, let's say, like, organization, right? So let's say that, like these books that I had right here. I had these books stacked up in a vertical sense, and I was like, it was pretty efficient. Like, it was an efficient method, but it wasn't the most effective method to keeping everything organized. Eventually, like, it worked, but things weren't doing well. So I just put them in, more of a linear plane of existence, and this linear dimension that I put them in allowed this to just be way more just effective, to where I can just pull out the book, put it back in here, pull out this book, put it back in here, and it just made the process just a lot better. So you can just think about this in your schedule and the things that you're trying to do. You don't have to do a million things every day, but you just have to do the most effective things every day. And I think that will take a lot of stress off of you and allow you to be more productive, because being more productive, you just want to make things a little more simple. Life can be very complex. It might not be complicated or very hard, but it can be very complex. And so making our decisions, holy crap, more effective will allow us to make life more simple. So there's 3 essential questions that we can ask ourselves. We can ask ourselves, what am I doing? We can ask ourselves, why am I doing it, and what do I need to do? And if we understand what we are doing, why we are doing it, and what we need to do, then we will be doing the right things rather than just doing things right. So, I think a very simple example that I can give is that if you are on your phone, you might say, well, what am I doing on my phone in that very moment? And you might say, okay, well, so let's say that, like, I don't know, we're doom scrolling on TikTok or something. We're doing degeneracy stuff. We're not being the ultimate Sigma male.
Fuck you, you fucking bitch.
So we're just on our phone. Why are we doing that? Because we're bored. And what do we need to do? We could be doing a lot of different things. We could be studying, intermediate accounting, you know what I'm saying? So we could be doing stuff like that. We could be studying, Linux or C Premiere Plus. Things that are going to just make you more successful in life. And that's the whole point of the key to productivity, is just making your mind more inclined to doing productive things. And so we have to have an awareness of what we are doing, and understand that we can't just be doing things mindlessly, and we have to be doing things with intent. So part of the questions that we ask ourselves in creating this course of action, which is essentially just the perfect schedule, right? We are asking ourselves this stuff so we can say these questions, or so that way we can be aware and we can allow ourselves to steer ourselves in the direction of being more productive and making habits that will lead us to being more productive, more effective, and more successful. So this is the basis of this. This is honestly the system that you can create if you follow these guidelines and you just create a schedule. With these guidelines, you'll be successful, I would say. And I wish I had a notebook. If you just have a notebook or something right here, just get a notebook, and you get a notebook, and when you get this notebook, just write out what you're going to do. You can use a planner. I like to use a pocket planner. So I have this planner right here that I can just write down my schedule in my hand, and then I can just put it in like a handbook and then put it right here. Or I also have another schedule that I have that's a little bit bigger that I do this too. But you can find these. I think Barnes & Nobles has like a sale on planners right now. They're like 30% off. Or you can just get a notebook or just a freaking piece of paper. You don't really need everything, but you can do it pretty simply. But if you do these things and you follow this, I guarantee you'll be more productive. I did this and I started to see I was just way more productive. I did this before, and I saw me not doing this and me doing this, how much more productive I was able to do. And I was able to do the things that I wanted to do the things that I needed to do, and I just felt a lot better at what I'm doing. For the 52 book reading challenge, this is what I do to read books and to get books done, is that I schedule in time to read every single day, and that reading time becomes a habit, and now I just do it second nature, and now it's easy for me to read anything that I want to read. And this is how I get these videos done. I schedule time to do videos. I schedule time to do all these things. So I think that's pretty much about it. I thank you guys for this, for your time, and I thank you guys for tuning into these videos. And yeah, so if you want to give me any more topics or things that I could do, I'm willing to take requests. And please leave a like, share if this video helped you, and let me know how it helped you as well. So this is Malcolm Mott signing off. I'll see you.
The end.